Okay, he's already on. What do we like? Right, let me try and find it here. Just give me a second, crew. It's in here somewhere. Holy crap, it's cold down here.
Let us show you how we run a system.
There we go. Right, we're operational. Andy Mechanic here, reporting from Queenstown in the southern area of New Zealand's South Island. I promised you a live stream from Queenstown. There you go. You've seen the thumbnail. It's, in fact, hang on a minute. Let's do things properly, Andy. There you go. Look. There is the lake and people, and we're currently at Pog Mahone's Irish bar. Now, fortunately, at this point, oh my word, at this point in time, they are closed. So I don't know how well the old live stream is going to go. We'll have to find out. I might get kicked off, but we will see. Oh, we're up and running now. Look at that. We are live. So, questions. Where are we? Jim K, where are you at? Andy, well, I've already answered that question for you, Jim. We're already at Queenstown. I've been driving down all week, making my way down. I wouldn't say the west coast because I flicked across to the east coast. I was in Christchurch and then down to Timaru and then across to Queenstown. So it's been quite an eventful week. Been very busy, lots of driving as always. Most of that, you know, on an evening. Some of it, well, not most of it. Some of it on an evening this time around. It hasn't been too bad. Killswitch BB, he's having a crafty side at no. I was out with the lads from the Off-Road Adventures business here in Queenstown. They run quite a few of the product that I work for, the manufacturer I work for, and it was a 40th birthday for Lockie, so happy birthday, Lockie. And they invited me down. Well, I sort of barged into the party, to be honest. I didn't really invite me. I just said, I'm in Queenstown, you up for a pint? They said, yeah, come on down. So yeah, a few pints later, I came to the Irish bar first, because I was a bit early, and had my tea here, my dinner, a couple of pints of, what was it, Steinlager, I think. And then I moseyed around the town centre, feeling pretty stuffed actually, because it was quite a big burger that I had for tea. So then I had a couple of Jack Daniels and Cokes, and then made my way across to Lone Star, where the party was. And it was more of just a gathering, it wasn't so much a party really. And caught up with the lads from there and had a good chat and how they got on through lockdown here in New Zealand, how it's affected the business. But no, they're still there, which is the important thing, and they have got some government assistance, which is nice. But yeah, it has affected all the businesses down here because they're very much, the whole town has developed into a tourist epicentre. You know, whether it's a pub, a cafe, or an adventurous activity in the area, it's all based around tourism, and very much in the main, people coming in from other countries to experience New Zealand, which obviously isn't happening. But last night, when I was at Pogs, there was a live band playing in the square. There was actually like a mini concert, really. It was all put on free of charge by the Queenstown Council, and that was pretty good. And there were lots and lots of people here. The streets were full of people. Every car parking space was taken. I wouldn't say that all the hotels are fully booked. They're not. I did see vacancy signs around the place. And the hotel prices are extremely cheap. I've been staying at the Millennium Hotel for the last 2 nights here in Queenstown, and the cost was only about $120, and that's significantly less than what it normally is. It's normally a lot more than that. Usually, I would say well over 200, to be honest, between 200 and 250 for a double room. So it's about half price. So they're obviously in a bit of a price war to try and get occupancy between the other hotels, which in some respects doesn't help them either, does it really? Because, you know, brings the prices down. Anyway, Jim K, wow, what a view. Queenstown is an awesome place. It's also, because it's awesome, it's quite expensive. But I mean, if you're coming in from abroad and you're bringing foreign money in, then it doesn't feel quite so expensive. But if you're a New Zealander and you come here, man, it's expensive when you compare it to the average salary. So it tends to be left for tourists. That's what I'm trying to get across. Artwood 4, Pog Mahone, yes. I think that's Irish for kiss my ass. It could be. That's a good point. I never actually Googled it. Yeah, but it's P-O-G, Pog. It is. It's called Pog Mahomes, and it's got an apostrophe S at the end as well. So you can Google that. I think it's more of a name than a, but it could have an underlying meaning as well. And that's a cool underlying meaning, isn't it, for a pub? Pretty cool. Chris Hinder, Andy, great to see another live stream. Random question: can you use brake cleaner or WD-40 on cleaning a cab? Well, to be honest, you could use pretty much anything you want. Although I'd be very dubious actually, because there's usually a rubber O-ring between the float valve seat and the cab body, and WD-40 unfortunately can react with some of those O-rings and cause them to swell and deteriorate basically, which could cause them to fail in the future. So I would stay away from WD-40 because of that particular reason. Other than that, it's actually really good stuff for cleaning things. Brake cleaner, yep, I've used brake cleaner before. It shouldn't really, well, again, I've had the same problem with brake cleaner on calipers, cleaning calipers, where the dust boot has actually reacted with the brake cleaner. So I think it depends on the brand of brake cleaner as well. And you obviously need to know what compound the rubber's made from. I think if you stick to carb cleaner, you're probably going to eliminate that possibility of messing something up. But to be fair, I've done it myself plenty of times and I've got away with it. But just be aware that that could be a problem. And if you remove that seat and the O-ring, won't be a problem because there's no more rubber there, is there? Okay, where are we? Simon Rawl. Good evening and good morning, Simon, from Queenstown in New Zealand, the South Island, New Zealand. It's pretty damn chilly down here. We had a lot of rain last night. Up on the hills, that will be snow. You can't see any mountains, but the mountains are all snow-capped. They have had quite a big dumping of snow recently here, but the weather's very, very bitter. It's not quite freezing at the moment, I would say. It's probably about 1 or 2 degrees. I haven't got a thermometer to verify that, unfortunately. Terribly organised, but at least it stopped raining, because if it was raining then we'd have a bit of a problem with the audio and stuff. But yeah, the pub's still closed. They open at 11 AM and I have to have this finished by 10 o'clock, so it's only going to be an hour and a half long today. The car parking runs out. You're only allowed to park here for a couple of hours, so it's not so good. Here we go. Outward's gonna put words in my mouth. No, it's a collaboration, people. Don't be afraid to chip in, because your experience is all, is just fills in the gaps with mine, and people have different thoughts and stuff as well. So Jim K, happy Independence Day to all us Americans. They had a big firework display last night, which I think was something to do with that. I didn't actually see it because I was eating my burger at the time, and I was hungry, and I didn't know it was a firework display until afterwards. I just thought it was somebody banging a big drum, because they do have live bands here. Jim K, done that. Art Woodford, don't want to put words in Andy's mouth, but I can answer that. Carb cleaner, it's stronger than brake cleaner. WD-40 is not really any good for that sort of thing. Good man. I would agree, to be honest. Yeah. What you could do as well, if you've got one that's really stubborn, there's a lot of varnishing, where the fuel is hardened on the body of the carburetor around the float ball and stuff, is you can put it in a plastic container and add some Coca-Cola. Not a sponsor. Leave it overnight, a couple of days. The Coca-Cola, it tends to eat all that kind of crap away. It's evil stuff when it comes to that. You think you are drinking it, but I don't know, human body copes. I've drunk Coke all my life and never any bother, but it's actually very good, I'm told, for cleaning stuff. But you've got to leave it for a while. Kill Switch. First day here in the UK, the pubs are able... Really? Most of you have to book an appointment for a 2-hour slot. Holy crap. Well, at least the pubs are open again. That's amazing. I mean, whether they're going to run at any kind of profit is yet to be seen, to be honest, because there's obviously going to be social distancing. They're minimising the number of people or restricting the number of people on premises. So unless you're an avid drinker and you can down a fair few pints in those 2 hours, they're not really going to make too much money out of you. But at least the doors are open. At least you can get back into your pubs, people. So congratulations. And we've had it pretty good here, to be honest. I've been very fortunate. Simon. Pog Mahone is Irish for kiss my ass. You're the second person to say that, Simon. Good man. Here it's spelt just P-O-G. There's no U-E at the end of it. So I don't know what the difference is there. Jim Haynes. I'm at the sprint car races again. So I can't hang out today. Virginia Sprint Series at Langley Speedway in VA. Video will be posted later at Push Start Video on YouTube. A really nice guy that does the videos. Oh, I'll have to look that up. Although I'm going to be driving this afternoon, I'm going to be in Invercargill this evening. I've got to drive to Invercargill, and Invercargill is well known in New Zealand as being the asshole of New Zealand. I wouldn't like to comment why, but you know, it's pretty bleak and usually pretty wet and windy down there. And from a commercial perspective, I don't know, there's not that, well, there didn't used to be that much employment down there. It was sort of seen as being a bit of a dead end. But I think things have picked up a lot since that that name was dished out. I still like to call it the asshole of New Zealand though. I get told off every time. Chris, thanks for the tip, Andy. No problem at all, Chris. Easy. Oh, here we go. Look, Mad Bren held for review. Interesting. That's correct. It's spelt Pog Mahone. Ah, that's the Irish spelling. Ah, well, we can have that. There's nothing wrong with that, Mr. YouTube. That's cool. Graham McLucky. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Graham. Hope you're all good. Simply Diagnostics. Good evening, Andy. Good evening, everyone. Yes. Good morning. It's morning here in New Zealand. For me, at least. It was quite a late night, though. I had a few pints, and I'm feeling a little bit, they call it dusty over here. Feeling a bit dusty. But I'll do my very best for the old live stream for you. Mad Bren. Evening, Andy. Hi, all. A couple of retracted messages there. Page Farms. I've heard the same about using Monster Energy, but I can't not get myself to try and use it to clean something. Yeah, I think it's just the sugar content. I'm not really sure, but I'm told it's pretty good. Inert Payet. Is it still the 4th of July in the EU? Yeah, it should. Oh, yeah, it will be. It'll be about 8 or 9 p.m. in the UK. So somebody on the live stream can verify that. We had a little glitch on the old internet there as well, so fingers crossed we're going to keep going. Chris, I've also heard Coke can be used to clean stuff. Incidentally, it's great for cooking a gammon. Really? Sure. John Dyer, I don't drink alcohol for religious reasons. Fair enough, John, that's your call. I really shouldn't drink alcohol. I've drunk plenty of it over the years, and it's probably a bad thing to keep going. MPAPS TV. Hi, bro. I'm joined. Good man. Good to have you on board. Mars Walker Pilot. Hi, Andy, and thanks for showing the pics of my Honda Pilot I'm restoring. Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more of those photos when it's finished, and maybe a little video of it in action. Very, very envious. I do like the old Honda Pilots, and I have done for a very long time, to be honest. I think if I was still in England running the off-road centre, I would probably have one by now. I'd have searched one out. But to be fair, we were pretty hard on our vehicles, especially Ben, and he would have probably broken it by now as well. So maybe not a good thing. Now that I'm in New Zealand, I can look after it properly. Chris, there you go. It's 9:37 in the evening in the UK right now. Maps TV, watching from Saudi Arabia. Excellent. It's amazing where these videos get to, isn't it? Simon, yep. Cheers, Simon. 9:37 p.m. in the UK. Off-road fan, it's 10:37 in the evening in Germany. Killswitch, yep. Still 4th of July in the EU. UK time is at time of writing is. We're getting lots of times here. It's now 9:38 in the evening. Inert parrot. Coke can be used to dissolve battery acid. Mars Walker Pilots. I just got my new milling machine. Oh, mate, I need a milling machine. That'd be so cool. And I've been making a few fancy parts for the buggy. It's nice to have that kind of kit to hand, isn't it? And Simon, Coke has, here we are, phosphoric acid in. That may be what cleans stuff. Could well be phosphoric acid. Right, well, before I started the live stream, just because not many of you, if any of you, I don't know, have been to Queenstown. I think if you had been, you'd have told me on the live stream. I went round and into one of the hotels that I normally stay at, which is the Novotel, I think it's called. Picked up some leaflets of what you can do here in Queenstown, just to give you an idea of what's available to all these tourists that would normally come here. You can go canyoning. Look at that, look. I do not like canyoning, especially when there's water involved. I get very claustrophobic. So I like rock climbing in the outside, but when it means going down a hole that probably I can't fit through very well, not a good idea. We've even got a haunted house here in Queenstown. Look at that. Scary chap. Not been there. Not done canyoning here either. Rafting, you can go rafting if you want to whiz down. There's plenty of really good rivers around here. The Shotover River and stuff. Now there are certain times of the year that you can't do this, obviously because the river's in flood and you probably wouldn't survive. But in the summertime, it's pretty cool, and it's actually quite warm down here in the summer. And of course in the wintertime you can go skiing. There's lots of ski resorts. There's one actually not too far away from here. Well, there's 2 or 3 actually not far away. And that's very much one of the things that one of the activities people specifically come to Queenstown for is the skiing. And it's supposed to be very good, and they have had a lot of snow recently on the mountains. It's said hills, it's mountains. So the skiing at the moment is awesome, so I'm told, given what I can hear in the pubs on the night time. And you can go jet skiing as well if you don't fancy going up a mountain. Go and find yourself a flat lake. Irish joke. Did you hear about the Irishman spent his entire life looking for a sloping lake? Dad told me that. You can go, if you don't want to go jet ski, you can go do it slow and go kayaking. Oh yeah, I looked down the bottom. I was trying to find the people on there. You've got to have a picture of a kayak on a leaflet, haven't you? There you go. What are we doing on here? And one of the best leaflets, and I did see a poster for this. When you're in Queenstown and you get a bit bored, you can actually go on an organised pub crawl. Look at that! Who came up with that as a business plan? That is fantastic. Get a group of people together and get them to pay you to take them out for the evening and get lots of free drinks from the pubs because you're bringing them business. Awesome idea. Obviously it won't work too well in England at the moment, but you know, one day. You can go jet boating. New Zealand is famous across the world for its jet boats and jet boat technology as well. There are jet boats here in the South Island, I wouldn't say all the major cities, but in some of the major cities. Even in Auckland, you can go jet boating. And I've done a couple of them, and they're awesome fun. A lot of close proximity driving, is that what you call it? Drive a jet boat? Where they go right close to the bankside and under boughs of trees, and they spin round on a sixpence, and you're always going to get absolutely soaking wet. So, you know, don't go on a cold day, and make sure you've got plenty of waterproofs. But yeah, jet boating, pretty cool, must admit. Let's do some more comments, and we'll come back to. I've got a big stack of these, so we'll come back to them. Jim K, are you visiting dealerships? I am, and I've been doing some training as well. We've got a new dealer started in the South Island, and just trying to get them up to speed and operational so they can crack on and make some money, basically. Mars Walker Pilots, I use brown vinegar to clean rust, and it works great. There's all these little tips. I need to try that stuff. And we've definitely got some at home. Usually put it on my fish and chips, though. Artwood 4, further on the Pog Mahoney thing, or Pog Mahone thing. It was the inspiration of the punk band named the Pogues. And of course they were Irish, no doubt. And I have heard of them, and I did used to listen to their music a long time ago. Probably was, yeah. No, there's a couple of good songs that they've done. I do like. I can't remember the names, but I do like them. Mad Bren, yes, it's still the 4th of July. It's now 9:45 in Ireland. Artwood 4, my God, Ireland is well in the future. It's only 2020. Okay, punctuation, I know. A couple of little dots would have helped, but I get the idea. Okay, so if you fancy something very different and a bit more back to nature, there's a few places over here in Queenstown that do horse trekking as well. And a little story about horse trekking, because I like to bring a few little stories in and embellish the live streams. When I was about 7 years old, we were on holiday with parents, my brothers. Where the hell were we? One of the Spanish islands, Tenerife. We were in Tenerife. And Dad decided it'd be a great idea to go horse trekking. So we went horse trekking. And I got plonked on this horse, and we basically did a trail that took us through a forest. And, you know, I was at the back, there wasn't an adult at the back. That left Andy, 7-year-old, at the back. I think health and safety was a bit different back then, especially in Spain and stuff. And my horse was a bit slower than the rest of them, and I didn't want to go fast. I was a bit scared, to be honest. I wasn't really a horse person. I'm more of a motorcyclist. I like to be in control, not have the horse in control. Anyway, this horse decided it could see the horses in front, the rest of the group, and it took a bit of a shortcut. It didn't follow the trail, it just cut through the trees, if I remember rightly. And there was quite a low bough. Now, sure enough, the horse is quite happy because he just ducked his head down and he went under the bough. But unfortunately, there was no room for me. So I ended up grabbing onto the bough of the tree, and the horse carried on, and I was left hanging from this tree for probably a good 10 or 15 minutes, it felt, until somebody, I'm not sure even if it was Dad, somebody came back and rescued me. The horse had long gone at that point. So, interesting little story. Got stranded in a tree because of a horse. Anyway. Now then, Artwood 4, where are you living? Well, it feels like the moment like I'm living in the car. I stay in hotels when I'm on the road, all paid for by my employer, which is very nice, and they are nice hotels as well. They look after me extremely well. But when I'm at home, which will be Friday night for 2 days, and then I'm away again, my home is near Taupo. Now, I used to live up near Auckland, and we moved the workshop down to a house that I bought when I still lived in England, because I knew at some point I was going to come to New Zealand, and I'd rather buy a house here and rent it out than buy a house in England and then have to try and sell it when it was time to go. So I tried to be cunning, and it sort of worked okay. At least it gave me a base here when I arrived, but I had to go up to Auckland to get a job, so I ended up paying rent anyway, which was ridiculous, to be honest. It's very expensive up there. Robert Hickey, I've been there. Good man. Queenstown is awesome. It's actually quite expensive, but there's lots and lots of things to do. There's loads of pubs and cafes and restaurants. Some really good food down here. Yeah, I'm feeling that already. But yeah, it's just a nice place, but it is quite expensive. That's the only thing. Outward 4. Greetings, Mad Bren. I'm in England. Alan Cook. Hi, Andy. Good morning, Alan Cook. Hope you're all good. It's pretty chilly down here. In fact, you might have a cigarette and try and warm up. You are allowed to smoke at these tables. That's one of the reasons why I picked them, because a lot of the cafes in Queenstown now don't allow you to smoke, and I do believe, from memory, the footpath around the waterfront now, a few months ago, they made smoke free as well. So if you're on a pub premises, you're okay. Right, just got to check on the old batteries, because we're running everything off battery packs at the moment, so we're all good at the moment, I think. And we've got, oh come on guys, we've got 10 likes and 33 people. Press the like button. Jeez, I'm sat here out in the cold. So, where are we? Mad Brain. Sure, we're in the same time zone, mate. Artwood 4. Yeah, mate, just having a laugh. Funny guys. Mad Brain, Artwood 4. Lol, I get you meant year. Yeah. Artwood 4. Lots of smiles and sunglassy man. Mad Brain, we've always been ahead of England, lol. It's a fact. Drew Dassley. Have you tried vaping? No, not really interested, to be honest. I only started smoking when I was 37, which actually was quite a long time ago now. That's 11 years ago. I'm 48. Can you believe that? Still young at heart, and what do they say? You're only as young as the woman that you feel. Shouldn't say that, because I'm sure Mrs. Mechanic's watching this live stream. Morning, honey. Hope you're all good. Oh, I've got to say something. Hang on. Bear with me. There's some code going on. I've got to come up with this in a way that we can create some kind of conversation, but she knows the underlying tones. Bear with me. Right. Are you ready, Mrs. Mechanic? Because I'm sure you're watching. Okay. So, first of all, we need to talk about some vegetables here. Who actually likes peas? I'm not really a great fan of peas. Not even mushy peas. I know they're quite different. I do eat the odd mushy peas with my fish and chips if we have them, but I'm not a great fan. If I'm really hungry and it's like toad in the hole and there's peas in with the gravy and stuff, then man, I'll eat all of them because I'm just hungry. And well, Moving on from peas, I absolutely hate broccoli. Mrs. Mechanic, whenever she cooks broccoli, always puts one piece on my plate, and she knows it winds me up. I just leave it there as decoration. I don't eat it. I'm not a fan. Well, again, if I'm really hungry, I will eat it, but it's not a choice. It's not a preference. I'd rather have a bit more meat than have a bit of broccoli. But anyway. And don't get me started on sprouts. The only good sprouts to me are the ones that are still, well, they're not in the ground now, they're still on the stalk kind of thing. Sprouts traditionally are very popular over Christmas time, and Mum used to make us always eat Brussels sprouts at Christmas with our turkey. Just one, Andrew, you've got to eat one. But I just don't like the flavour. I don't like gooseberries. I'm not into gooseberries either. Now, where are we now? I've got to keep up with these comments. Just bear with me. Just bear with people. There's too many comments. Have we tried? Right. Simply Diagnostics. I get so much grief for smoking on stream, but my stream, my rules. Exactly. And it's bloody cold. And it's not often I have a cigarette. I might get through, maybe when I'm on the road, maybe 2 packs a week, which is probably too much. If I'm at home, it's probably a bit more because Mrs. Mechanic smokes, and when somebody else is smoking next to you, you always want a cigarette. It's just one of those things, unfortunately. I need to stop. I will stop. And I have stopped in the past and then started again. I think about 6 months went by without a cigarette. But, hey, there's many things out there that are going to kill you, and I don't think smoking is any more dangerous than riding a motorcycle. If not, it's probably less dangerous than riding a motorcycle, to be honest. Jim K, my parents went to Queenstown in 1998. Would love to get down there sometime. Might be a while. Yeah, you can't come at the moment, the borders are shut. Not unless you're a New Zealand citizen, I think. That's about the only way you can get in, or a resident. Drew Dastardly, blimey, I started at 12 and stopped about 29. I was a late starter when it came to smoking. And it was only because of New Zealand, because a lot of people here smoked at the time. A lot of my friends that hung around at the pub with as well, which I think had an influence on it. Mix Mowers. Hi from the UK. How are you doing, mate? I'm all good. Bit chilly. Fingers are getting cold, but I'm all right. Hi all in the chat. Hope everything is doing okay. Yeah, we're having a bit of an informal chat. We're running through stuff to do here in Queenstown, just to sort of fill you in. You might have done some of these activities elsewhere in the world, so you can mention those as well if you like. And if you had any, what would be really interesting if anything went wrong, because I used to run a. Ooh, they may be coming to get me. I don't know. I used to run, as many of you know, a very large off-road driving centre in the UK, and we had, we were very good with safety, but there was always, when you've got humans involved, there's always going to be problems. So if you ever had an experience where something went wrong, whether it's trail riding or quad biking or four-wheel driving, you rolled the vehicle or whatever, tell us. It's interesting stuff, and you can look back on it, and reflect and have a little laugh. I've got millions of stories I can tell you, and I do tell you these now and again. Drew Dastardly, oh god, it's a pie floater, a thing in is a pie floater a thing in New Zealand? I haven't heard of it. It might be, Drew. I just don't know. I've not come across that anywhere, and I've been all over New Zealand many times. Mad Bren, our pub's opened. Yes, I heard that here as well. You can stay for 1 hour 45 minutes at a time. Frankly, I think it's nuts. As we ain't out of the woods, even the medics are preparing for a second wave. I know we had the same problem here in New Zealand. It's a dilemma, for the governments. Do they protect the financially the economy, or do they try and stamp out the virus? And here, fortunately, they've pretty much stamped it out. There is the odd case every day, or most days, but that's usually people that have been let into the country through the border. People that have got a right to be in this country, we have to let them in. We have to let them come through the border, but they should go into quarantine and be tested, which I think most of them are. 1 or 2 did escape, and that's hence some of the problems we've had recently. Simply Diagnostics, anything goes, but parsnips guarantee the food goes in them. Seriously, I love parsnips. Absolutely love them. Roast parsnips. You can't beat a good roast parsnip, especially if it's slightly burnt and crispy around the edges. I do like the little ones. If you cut them too big and they're all mushy in the middle, not a great fan. But if they're nice and crispy, real tasty. But I've never had parsnips and bacon. I bet those two go really well together. So, one of the very common fruits, I think it is a fruit here in New Zealand, is the avocado. And when I first came to New Zealand, I wasn't really a fan. It looked like green, mushy stuff. It almost reminded me of mushy peas, but it's obviously got a very different texture. It's also people use it instead of margarine over here quite a lot. Put avocado on toast, and it's actually really tasty. So if you've never had an avocado before, do try it. They're really good, but make sure you get one that isn't too ripe. They can go off as well, so you've got to cling film them in the fridge. Otherwise, they can go brown and they don't taste quite as nice, and they don't look very good at all. They look quite disgusting actually when they go brown. Simon, love mushy peas. Well, I'm pleased somebody does. Mrs. Mechanic loves mushy peas. I'm not a fan at all, so she gets all the mushy peas. Oh my word. Hang on a minute. Right, mixed mowers. Oh, I love sprouts. Mate, you can have mine anytime. Mad Bren, welcome mixed mowers, or Mick mowers. Ian Watley, where are your Walker's cheese and onion crisps? Don't the pubs down there sell them? Well, believe it or not, I am an idiot. Simon sent me 2 packets, as you know, on the mail call video I did with Tool Girl Lilli the other week, or the other day actually, only a few days ago, at the last weekend it was. I brought the second packet down with me. It's in the ute, it's in the centre box, and I meant to bring it with me and eat them during this live stream down in Queenstown. But I didn't. I forgot them. I got everything else. I just didn't bring those. So Simon, my apologies. There might be another live stream later on in the week. Who knows? I'll save them for that. I don't need to eat them just yet. I'm holding off because it's the last packet. You know. But no, the pubs, in general, pubs don't sell crisps. What? I hear you say? That's right. And nibbles, they just don't. Pork scratchings, not very many pubs sell them. I don't even think Pug Mahones do. And they should. It's an English thing, an Irish thing. It's, we have crisps and a pint. You know, 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps, please, mate. Isn't that the saying? But they just don't do it. And I tell them every time, and they just don't get it. It's weird. Now then, I think Mrs. Mechanic should have now all of her secret words. We've done all that. There was an underlying theme behind all of that fruit and vegetable stuff going on, and fingers crossed she's been listening to the live stream. She might still be in bed fast asleep, but she'll maybe watch it later on. Who knows? So we can put that one to bed, Mrs. Mechanic. We're all good there. Now then, mixed mowers. Hi, Mad. Simple Diagnostics. # no salad. I don't mind salad. One of my favourite meals in the summertime here in New Zealand is a chicken Caesar salad, believe it or not, for lunch. Not too heavy, although if you go to Wanaka, they give you about half a chicken in your salad and not a lot of salad, which is really nice, but it's a lot of meat to have at lunchtime. That was one of the pubs there. In fact, I did a live stream from that pub when I was in Wanaka last. That was the pub. Now then, Wayne Campbell. Good morning, Wayne. Good to have you on board. Finally, I meet someone else who feels the same way about broccoli as I do. Yeah, not a fan of broccoli. Mixed mowers, pork scratchings with a beer. I used to eat lots of pork scratchings when I was a bit younger, but I find that they give me terrible heartburn now. Mrs. Mechanic did get me a packet for our 25th wedding anniversary, believe it or not, which I didn't forget about, but I didn't do anything about. I am a terrible, terrible husband. Unfortunately, she's extremely loyal and puts up with an awful lot of things that I should do that don't. Unfortunately, I do let her down on countless occasions, and I do sincerely apologise about that. I just have so much to do, and I also forget sometimes as well. I take her for granted, and that's bad. Now then, Simon, now do you get real fish and chips in New Zealand? Well, they're not in newspapers. The batter is quite different on the fish over here. The chips aren't too bad, but they're still not like English chips. They're okay, they're passable, but they do taste quite different. Kill switch. 6.5 years of not smoking thanks to a certain pill that got me off smoking. When I choose to stop smoking, I do feel, it's hard to say this, but I do feel I will be able to stop without any problems. I know a lot of people get hooked on the stuff, and it is bloody expensive. So, you know, if I was to stop now, I would definitely save probably, well, they're about $32 a packet here in New Zealand, which is ridiculously expensive. So it would save me $65 a week. That's that $250 odd a month. Probably about $3,000 a year just smoking. Think of the tools that I could buy with that. Maybe I should just exchange it for lap dances. That might work. You know, just bin the cigarettes and just spend the money on lap dancing while I'm away. Could be a good incentive, couldn't it? We'll have to wait and see. I'm sure Mrs. Mechanic will have something to say about that. Andrew Thompson, have you blown up a driver with a test light? Well, you've got to be very careful what current test light you use if you're doing that. LED one's probably the best idea. I wouldn't be going for an old school bulb type test light because the current flow potentially could be too much. So no, I haven't, but I know people that have, so be careful. Geordie Caddy, yay, making me want to rolling. Leonard Parrott, in Belgium we eat Brussels sprouts with bacon. It makes it taste much better. You see, that's got potential. You know, the bacon flavour should really damp out that weird Brussels sprout flavour. I'd be prepared to give that a go. I would. And again, over Christmas, with the Christmas meal, we used to get sausages wrapped in bacon with our Brussels sprouts. So, you know, if I'd been wise, I'd have eaten a bit of the bacon with the Brussels sprout. Maybe I did. Maybe that's how I got round it. Because Mum used to make us always eat them. But I used to leave the Brussels sprouts till last. I used to eat the stuff I liked first, and then leave all the... Because, you know, you might get full and not be able to eat anything. And I'd hate to see a sausage or a bit of bacon, you know, not be eaten. That would be terrible. Much prefer a Brussels sprout to go in the bin. Mad Bren, you can't beat Brussels sprouts. Damned excellent. Well, Mad, you can have mine again. Drew Dastley, pie floater is from Adelaide, I think. It's a pie but covered in pea soup, so it floats. Yeah. Okay, well that's an Australian thing, obviously then. Matterwicks. What have we got here? Oh, there's loads. Matterwicks. There will be an outbreak in London after the opening up. It's inevitable. Of course it is. The virus hasn't gone away. It certainly hasn't gone away. And I think the way things are going, it potentially could end up being something we all have to live with for a very long time. You know, if businesses are going to start opening up to keep the businesses going, then the virus is going to be within the community for a very, very long time in some countries. I mean, again, fortunately here in New Zealand, we're very fortunate. But, you know, the longer that the rest of the world has a major problem, we're not going to get tourists in this country. It's as simple as that, and that is harming our economy dramatically. But a lot of the Kiwis now, a lot of the people that live here in New Zealand are now taking holidays here in New Zealand rather than going abroad. So they're spending their earnings with New Zealand businesses, which is, you know, it is helping to pick things back up again. But we're still not, you know, out of the woods yet. There's still problems, and if we do get a second outbreak, a second wave, and we go back into lockdown, there will be a lot more businesses closed because financially, you know, they're very unstable now. They've gone through the first lockdown, they're pretty poor, their cash reserves have dropped, they've already got bailouts from the government. Would the government bail them out again? I don't know. You know, the coffers may be dry by now. Ian Watley, salad only with a doner kebab. Good call. Matterwicks, I love mushy peas. Mad Brain. Matterwicks, how bloody true, mate. Matterwicks, I love blood pudding. Yeah, that's like an English breakfast thing, isn't it? You know, I don't have that. I can have my steaks pretty well. Rare to medium is about as far as I ever go. There is a bit of blood on the plate, but that's about as far as I go with that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't have the black pudding, we call them, don't we, in England, I think. Drew Dastley, famous hail and paste clip. I'll look that up. Simon Roll, I did look at sending a box, as we are getting a box of 24 packs for not much with the pubs closed, but the post cost is... Yeah, Simon, it's all right, mate. Honestly, I really shouldn't eat a whole box of Walker's Crisps anyway. It wouldn't do me any good. There we go. Roger Heaps. Good morning. Good morning, Roger. We're currently in Pub Mahone's in Queenstown, which is a very famous Irish pub, and they always have live music on at night time. It's a lovely place to be. Jim K has done it again. Jim, what you like? We've got a, what do they call it? I always forget, a super chat. Jim has done a super chat for $1.99 US. Looks like you could use a coffee to warm you up. I know, I made a second mistake this morning. I should have gone to get a coffee first before I started the live stream, but I was getting a bit pushed for time, and I wasn't sure if this location was going to be acceptable. Hey, morning, mate. How's it going? You good? Are you doing a coffee yet?
Sorry?
Are they doing coffees yet?
No, I'm just a cleaner.
Oh, you're just cleaning. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No worries.
just cleaning.
That's all right. It's getting cold out here. Hey, do you want to talk to England? Come here. It's a live stream. Come here. Look.
Hi there, how are you?
What's your name?
Anderson.
Anderson.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Anderson.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Nice to meet you.
Easy, mate. No worries. Yeah, good to have you on board. There you go, crew. Right. Wayne Campbell. 3 veggies I don't eat. 1 meat and 1 meat. Broccoli, asparagus, cauliflower and liver. Yeah, I'm not a fan of liver, to be honest. I really aren't. And asparagus, I have had asparagus. Asparagus soup's not bad, actually. So I don't mind asparagus now and again if it doesn't look like asparagus. I just don't like the look of it. Drew Dastley. I hate sprouts until they were not boiled to death and instead sauteed with butter and mixed with nuts. Bacon is a good idea. You see, you guys have got it sussed that if Mrs. Mechanic cooks sprouts again, that's what I recommend, that she does that. Robert Hickey. Undercook the Brussels sprouts, then brown them in brown sugar and butter. You see? Perfect. I could cope with that. Simply Diagnostics. Off to make a brew and food. Stay safe, everyone. You made me really hungry there, mate. And I could just do with a hot drink at the moment. I'm getting a bit chilly. Mad Bren, you too, mate. So Simply Diagnostics, thanks for being on board. I do appreciate it. And oh, there goes a bit more of a burp from last night's tea. Good to have you on board, and we'll catch up next time. Thanks for joining us. Matterwicks, I meant black pudding. That's what I thought you meant. Killswitch BB, black pudding is awesome. I used to like, fried bread as well. That was really nice, but again, I can't eat it anymore. It just gives me massive heartburn. Drew Dastley, I haven't had black pud in. Hang on, I haven't black pud in over a year. I have no excuse. Liver is great with bacon and onion, a bit like sprouts. Yeah, you've got to kill that flavour, haven't you, with the good stuff. But you can't. Bacon's good with pretty much everything. Killswitch BB, £5, mate. Honestly, you didn't have to do that, but seriously, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Killswitch. And it's good to have you on board again, one of our very regular viewers and contributors to the channel. So, thanks, much appreciated. Simon, sprout raw and mixed as the cabbage in coleslaw. No way, Jose. I couldn't do that. That would just be sacrilege. Mad Brent, Jesus mate, liver is horrible. I'm in that club. I agree. I'm not into liver. Adam Clemenson, what about haggis? Haggis. I have had haggis once. Can't really remember what it tastes like. Never really been inclined to go and have it again, to be honest. So I don't think I enjoyed it too much. MX Sport, just finished shooting off my fireworks. Perfect. Hope the display went well and it wasn't too, and you waited till it was nice and dark before you had your display, because there's nothing worse than a fire display during dusk. You can't really see what's going on too well. Mad Bren, never tried haggis. Drew Dastley, fried bread is healthy if you use coconut oil. I love it. I tend to fry it in butter, to be honest. I'm terrible. Or in the fat after I've cooked the bacon and stuff. That's so tasty, but it repeats on me terribly. So I just don't cook it anymore, to be honest. Jim K, the internal wet clutch job went well. Excellent. Just wish the service manual did a better job of saying which way the one-way bearing goes in. I think the one-way bearing has the words outside written on one side of it, from memory. If you were fitting a genuine part, They don't always, but usually they'll have the words outside etched on one side of the bearing, which goes to the outside of that component. But hey, don't know, it may be different in your neck of the woods. Hey, so let's get back to some of these and get these out of the way now. We've done the Mrs. Mechanic thing, we've gone through about half of the things that you can do here in Queenstown, and this isn't all of them, this is just some of them. Oh, there's another horse trekking one. Oh no, we did horse trekking, didn't we? Done that one. Lord of the Rings Scenic Tour. Now you've obviously all heard of the Lord of the Rings, and a lot of it was filmed here in New Zealand, if not all of it I think, I'm not too sure to be honest, but yeah, they take you around to the places where they're filmed, which is pretty nice if you're into the Lord of the Rings. Good thing to take the kids on. And some more jet boating. I think quite a lot of the companies here team up and they do combination activities where you can actually save quite a lot of money by booking a group of activities. So that's pretty cool. Oh my word, rafting, look at that. You see, if that was me, I have done rafting once. I have. It wasn't scary, but it was hard work, and I did thoroughly enjoy it. A long time ago though. And it was in a man-made rafting thing. It wasn't a real river. It was all man-made, but it was cool, nevertheless. And if you're good with a rifle, then you can go clay pigeon shooting. Look at that. And I have done that. I did that in Australia off a boat, and I won. I got the prize. I got the little cup for winning, which surprised me immensely because I'm not that good at shooting. I used to have an air rifle with a telescopic sight. It was a Webley Raider. It was. And it was bloody good. I really enjoyed that rifle. I had a lot of fun with it. And you can go and do Segway. I don't know do you have Segways in the UK? I don't know. I've not seen them over there. Oh no, you do, because there was a company in Dalby Forest, which was the adjacent forest where we had the off-road centre, started to do Segway tours around the forest. So yeah, you do have those in England, obviously. And if the weather's really, really crap, you can go and do some indoor go-karting. And I do like go-karting. I have a lot of fun with that. And in Auckland, there is an electric go-kart track where you can go around, and they are really fast. I actually thought, because they're not petrol powered, they're going to be really boring. But it's quite the opposite. They're really, really fast little carts, and they can easily adjust the power output depending on whether they've got kids and inexperienced drivers, or if you're actually pretty good at what you do. So they turn mine up for me. What else have we got? Here we go. Look, this is, got to give them a little plug now. This is the company that I was out with the staff last night having a few pints, and it's called Off-Road. You got Off-Road Adventures, and they do a wealth of different activities. They do trail bike riding, they do adventure tours around New Zealand on the road, a bit of gravel and stuff. If you're just on an adventure bike, they'll supply you the bikes as well, or they do a bit more hardened trail riding. They do quad trekking. They've got a big fleet of four-wheel drive buggies just up on the hillside here, which I've been around a couple of times now, and it's really good fun, and they do look after you really, really well. So if you do come to Queenstown, go and see Scotty and his mates, and take one of the buggies out around the forest, or go quad biking, or jump on a trail bike and go do some trail biking for the day, because it is bloody good. They're not a sponsor. I just like their business. I think they do a great job, and I do my very best to support them with their venture. Not that it makes much difference, but I do my little bit. And there's another one there. Look, that's their leaflet on the quad biking. They use Suzuki quads. Yeah, look, you see, Off-Road Adventures. You can Google it. You'll find their website, and you can even book it online before you come to New Zealand. Obviously, not just at the moment. Now, this is really weird. I saw this. It operates in the lake just behind me, and it's called Hydro Attack. And it's like a mini submarine thing that you go in. I think it must be two-seater. It must be two-seater, because obviously there's the pilot, and then there's you basically in there, and it goes down under the water, and then it flips up a bit like a dolphin, flipping up out of the water. You can do some really good stunts in it. Yeah, well, that's the back. There's the back picture of it. That's what it looks like. And it's very, very cool. Really cool. It is something which, yeah, they are. Look, you can just see two people there. Look, there's a person there, and there's somebody else in the back, just hiding. So that's something which maybe one day I might give it a go. I think it'd be quite a weird experience, wouldn't it? Very different to any other kind of activity that I've ever done, that's for sure. Now, we've only got a couple left. This is definitely a no from me. It would never happen. Skydiving, jumping out of a plane with a bit of a very large hanky to hold you in the air and stop you from plummeting into the harsh mountains of Queenstown. Definitely not going to happen. But if you're up for skydiving, then well, they've got that here as well, which is pretty cool. And I think it's the last one. Yeah, last one. A Skipper's Canyon jet boating. Now, for those of you who might remember, I did a video not so long ago driving the company ute, it was, down Skipper's Canyon track, and very, very tight and twisty, lots of narrow little bridges and stuff. Great fun. There is that video somewhere on the channel. You can go and check it out if you want. It's the terrain. It's the road itself is well known as being the most dangerous road here in New Zealand. So of course I had to go and explore it and drive it for myself. Yeah, it was dangerous, I suppose. There was potential for death, where you could go off the edge of the track and plummet a few hundred feet into the ravine. But I have done more dangerous things than that, so it wasn't, 10 out of 10 dangerous to me. But I think some people would get pretty scared on that. Oh, hang on. We've got to catch up with the thingies here. Right. Did you come back? Sorry, Adam Clemenson. Did you come back to the UK much? I'm from Lockerbie. Ooh, that's where that big plane disaster was, isn't it? No, I've never been back to the UK since I left, and I left about 11 and a half years ago, and I have been to Lockerbie a long time ago. And I don't have any plans to go back to the UK at the moment. Maybe one day when I retire or whatever, just for a trip to say hello to check out all my friends that I left behind. Robert Hickey, is your wife with you on the trip? She is not. Mrs. Mechanic is at home with Marmite, the shop dog. Marmite actually got attacked earlier in the week by another dog in the village, and she got a bit of a puncture wound on the side of her neck, so she's busy recovering. And it scared Mrs. Mechanic absolutely shitless when this other dog came bounding across the village. On the attack, it was an outright attack that this dog made on Marmite. But fortunately, Mrs. Mechanic wasn't injured. But Marmite is recovering at the moment. Jim K, is Mrs. able to go with you on your trips? Well, every now and again she can. It's very difficult because we have obviously Marmite, and we have to get one of the kids to come down and look after the house and look after Marmite while we're away. So logistics is very difficult, but she has been on a couple of trips with me and she thoroughly enjoys it. And she's been to Queenstown. We did a trip back in, I think it was back end of January, early February this year, and she was on that trip and we were away from home for nearly 2 weeks. Great fun. She thoroughly enjoyed it. Other than that, she doesn't usually get out of the house very much. Drew Dassedley, is clay pigeon shooting even allowed in New Zealand after the Prime Minister virtue signalled the whole planet and banned all firearms for everything ever whatsoever? No, there's still plenty of guns and stuff around here in New Zealand, sports rifles and stuff. It's just the ones that I think, is it you can shoot more than 6 rounds in the magazine? I'm not really that up on that kind of stuff. But yeah, a lot of guns have been handed in and paid for. The government actually paid them the market value for them to get them off the, out of the marketplace and out of the public domain. And then those guns were destroyed. A very unfortunate event occurred in Christchurch, which I think prompted that. And the government had to be seen to react. It's just the way it is. But no, there's still a huge following here in New Zealand for firearms. And from home, I often hear the farmer out in his field shooting stuff on a Sunday morning. So there's still stuff going on. Kill Switch. Mate, I have to go. I will watch the rest tomorrow. All the best and drive safe. Thank you, Kill Switch. And again, thank you also very much for the super chat. It is much appreciated. I'll use that to buy myself a coffee a bit later and get warmed up. NW8000, hello from Leeds. Good morning, NW8000. Good to have you on board. We've got 37 viewers and 26 likes, which means that 39. So we've got 13 viewers haven't pressed the like button yet. So if you haven't pressed the thumbs up, give us a thumbs up. Drew Dastley, I think Andy is employed by the New Zealand Ministry of Tourism. I'm not at all. I'm just doing my little bit, and it's nice to run through all the different activities that are available here in Queenstown. Actually, there's a couple of things that I didn't mention. There are also, if you're up for it, There's two extremely well presented and operated strip clubs here in Queenstown, and they do have some excellent talent available. So but again, pretty expensive, but you know, if you're cold and lonely and want some proper entertainment, then you should go and check them out, because I can highly recommend both of them. Now then, Jim Kay, he's laughing his head off, look. Robert Hickey, by the way, oh my word, Gayleen, is that spelled right? Ghislaine? I don't know. Maxwell did not kill herself. Hang on a minute. Just getting ahead of the curve. I don't get that. NW8000, what happens if you fart in one of those subs? Can't go anywhere, can it? It's going to linger for a while. Mad Bren, probably instant surface and open the hood. Mad Bren, Andy, got the seals sorted on the Mazda 2, all done except whoever put the oil drain plug on must have put it on with an impact wrench. Yeah, lol, I've tried heating it up, no joy. I've tried holy crap. Yeah, there's no need for that, is there, you know? I mean, on the ones that I work on, I think it's 17 Newton meters for the sump bung, and it goes into alloy, not steel, so you've got to be careful, you know, you can easily overcook it. And always use a new crush washer, very important, if a crush washer is fitted. Jim K, there is a lot to do there. There is, and this is only a handful of stuff. There was probably twice as many leaflets, but I just picked out what I thought would be interesting for you. God, I'm starting to shiver now, it's really cold. Mad Bren, Socket, NW8000, Robert Hickey, I say good riddance. Drew Dastley, Robert Hickey, I just downloaded Filthy Rich Netflix from somewhere on the high seas, looking forward to it. I have not watched Filthy Rich yet. I'm still working my way through Dynasty at the moment. Good old Fallon, she's pretty cool. Mad Bren, still can't get it off, it's stuck on solid. Oh dear, you might have to just not bother and just get one of those sucky oily things and suck the engine all out and just replace it that way and walk away from that sump bung. It could end up being a real can of worms, wouldn't it? Leonard Parrott, no fishing fodder. There is some fishing around though. There's definitely fishing activities, especially out on the coast. New Zealand's is famous for its fishing. Everybody goes fishing. I don't go fishing, but everybody else goes fishing. Robert Hickey, I watched the Netflix thing. Stuff was left out. Geordie Caddy, have you ever been to Cornwall in the UK? I have. I went down to Cornwall a long time ago with a car trailer to pick up a Peugeot estate car for a friend of mine. And coming back on the M4, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was driving my almost brand new Nissan Navara pickup. I was doing 105 miles an hour with the car trailer and the Peugeot car on the trailer. And mile after mile after mile, just foot to the boards, it wouldn't go any faster. I had to get back to York, well, back to Scarborough actually, that night, so it was a very long drive. And I'd driven down that day, so I'd gone to Cornwall and back in the same day with the trailer. I think it was 19 and a half hours it took us to do the run. And after probably 20-30 miles, a police car popped up on my right hand side with these little flashy lights on, and he sort of looked at me and I looked at him, and I didn't ease off the throttle, I just kept it at 105, and he just shook his head and zoomed off and left me to it. There was nobody else around. I suppose he felt if I was going to crash, I've only got myself to blame. But it seemed quite stable. It was well loaded that night, and you know, 105 mile an hour, pretty cool. Soon got the miles down. Simon, poor Marmite, yeah, she could have been a lot worse injured, to be fair, but I think she came off it quite lightly. It was a big dog, and it was not happy. Mad Brand, skydiving is a great experience, mate. I don't have any problems at all with the flight part of it. It all depends on the speed of the flight. You know, are you plummeting to the ground at terminal velocity, or are you nicely, gently coasting down with a parachute? And the thought of the parachute not opening, there's a chance. I don't like that. Would I do it? I don't think so. I mean, I've done bungee jumping and stuff off bridges and things, but there's still a rope, you know what I mean? There's still an attachment. Whereas with skydiving, there's just nothing. If it goes wrong, that's it. There's so many other things that I want to do in my life rather than just put it all on the table and risk it for that. 6 days apart. That's a new one. I've not seen that before. Might have missed it, but where are you from originally? You sound very Yorkshire. Still don't have the New Zealand twang. I do specifically try very hard not to pick up the New Zealand lingo, although to my detriment, every now and again it does slip through. I was born in Cumbria, premature, and I was whisked back to Yorkshire very early on, and I am a Yorkshireman through and through, from North Yorkshire. Lived just outside York, at a place called Wilberforce, and then a little place called Sheriff Hutton, near Strensall, a bit further out of York, probably about 15 miles, 20 miles outside York maybe, and then eventually moved up to the North Yorkshire moors and lived on a farm. It was a working farm, but we didn't work it, and that was our base for the off-road driving centre that I ran for about 15 years before I came over to New Zealand. So yeah, I've been surrounded by Yorkshire people all my life, and I do very much value my Yorkshire accent. But it has changed a little bit because I went to college in Loughborough, near Leicester in the UK, and I did pick up a little bit of their accent as well. So it's not a true Yorkshire accent anymore. Although if I get talking to a Yorkshireman with a strong, or Yorkshire woman with a very strong Yorkshire accent, I very quickly drop back into the Yorkshireman groove, with the accent. Matterwicks, my Hoysung scooter started after 5 weeks sitting yesterday. Gave it a midwinter run, so I have no starting issues when summer comes. That's a very good idea. Just take it out for a blast, blow off the cobwebs, park it up again. Jim K, is the sun starting to come out? Well, if it is, I can't bloody feel it. It really is cold. It feels colder now than when we started, which is weird. Drew, indicated 105 mile an hour was probably an actual 79, which can't be prosecuted by police guidelines, lol. I did 99 mile an hour downhill on the M6 in a 1.1 Fiesta. Well, that's a challenge accepted, isn't it? Nail the pedals to the floor, hit the rug, hit the carpet, whatever you say, and get as much speed as you can. I did the same thing in an old Nissan Patrol, long wheelbase. We called it Gus Gus. The kids called it Gus Gus because it used to guzzle petrol. It was a, what was it? It was a, I think it was a 2.8 straight 6 petrol. Yeah, it was. I'm sure it was. It was the old Nissan Patrol petrol engine, before the 3-litre came out. And we were on our way to Halifax, and I wanted to see how fast it would go. And so we just planted the throttle and held it there, for mile after mile and after mile. I think we got to about an indicated 115, which is not bad going for such a big, heavy, numb brick, as a Nissan Patrol. But obviously it wasn't a true 115 because speedos tend to overread by about 10%. Some vehicles overread a lot more than that, which is terrible. Oh, hang on. Have we got any more? We haven't. 6 days apart has retracted his message, unfortunately. So we've actually run out of messages. We're an hour in. I'm going to run to an hour and a half, which will take me to 10 o'clock. And then I've got to go and rescue the car because it's only got... In fact, here you go. Look, I can prove where I am. I even took a picture for you of the car parking ticket. Just bear with me. Look at that. Tool Girl Holly on my phone. Bloody good, eh? We had a great photo shoot session the other weekend. She did very, very well. Here we are, look. Right, so there is my car parking ticket. The car's about a 10-minute walk away, and I've got to go and rescue it. So I've got till 10:30 before the very pleasant traffic warden gives me a ticket, unfortunately. Let's see if we've got any messages come through. I don't think so. No, we're all good. We're all good. Right, and the battery's still charged. It's still charging up. This one for the phone is good. Phone's all good. Laptop is about half charge now, so we are running out. But we're okay for now. I think we'll make it through this hour and a half live stream without any problems. Then I'll go get hot coffee from Starbucks. It's not very New Zealand, is it? Oh, I'm getting a runny nose, it's that bloody cold. So, Simon, Drew Dastardly, was that the downhill bit next to Keswick? I got 125 Virago to 81 on that stretch. Excellent. That's what I like to hear. Adam, what vehicle are you there in? Well, I drove down from Auckland and I'm driving a 3.2 litre Ford Ranger. Automatic transmission. I think it's a 6-speed from memory. Yeah, it is a 6-speed. It does exactly what it says on the tin. I've had that vehicle about a year and I've done nearly 70,000 kilometres in it. And it tows really well. Sure, it knows when the trailer's on the truck and it's loaded up. Ooh, Mrs. Mechanic. And I'm not sure if I can share this or not, but we'll have to wait and see. Oh, here we go, look. Hang on. She's happy. That's all that matters. Very important that Mrs. Mechanic is kept happy because I'm away from home an awful lot. Yeah, so the old Ford Ranger. I wasn't a great fan. When I first got it, I did prefer the Commodore because it was basically faster and had far better overtaking ability. So it meant that my journey times were, minimised between cities. Also, it handled extremely well on the tight, twisty stuff, so you could get the hammer down the back roads. And that's probably why they gave me a Ford Ranger, to slow me down a little bit. But the Commodore couldn't do the towing very well. It's not really a very good towing car. And now I have the big Eye for Williams trailer. I can transport 2 ROVs, which takes it up to about 3 tons towing, including the weight of the trailer. It's a very heavy trailer. And the Ranger copes with that pretty well. It's pretty thirsty on fuel. If I go from Auckland to Taupo and back to Auckland with the fully loaded trailer, it will use a full tank of diesel. It will. It's a diesel engine, by the way. Turbo diesel. Drew Dastardly, Simon Roll, no, Keswick is more north. That was a London to Liverpool stretch. Matowix, I did 100 kilometres per hour. No, 100 miles per hour going downhill on my Hoyson scooter. Luckily, it didn't seize. I had shorts on. Mate, you've got to wear proper gear when you're riding that kind of speeds. If you come off, no more skin. It's gone. It's like a cheese grater, the roads at that kind of speed. 6 days apart, I was just saying that I know York well and Sheriff Hutton, as I'm from Harrogate. Thought I picked up the accent. Yes, I did enjoy living in Sheriff Hutton. It was a very, very cool little place. And it was a nice ride into York on the motorbike, down the back roads, into Haxby and stuff. I really enjoyed that. And there was a humpback bridge. Man, that humpback bridge I used to always get air. It didn't matter what bike I was on, I would always get air over that humpback bridge. Great fun. Adam, my friend, used to live in Hawera. I can never pronounce this. I've been there. Hawera, that's near New Plymouth, I believe. Drew Dastardly, I thought the Ford Ranger is just a small EU version of the Ford F-150. I don't know, I've never driven an F-150. It's not classed as a full-size pickup like you have in the States, but in all honesty, it's big enough for New Zealand roads. I'm trying to find places to park it. It's right on the limit of most car parks. And if it's an underground car park, like under a hotel, things can get really, really tight. I've gone into car parks before where I've actually struggled to get back out of. It's a bit of a problem. Jim K, the Ranger is smaller than the F-150. It's a mid-sized truck. Yeah, you guys call it a mid-sized truck. We don't really get full-size trucks here in New Zealand for whatever reason. You can get them, but they're not very popular. And I think they're more of a parallel import vehicle rather than a sold through the dealerships. Although you can get the Dodge pickups here, the full-size pickups. I saw an advert yesterday for that whilst I was watching a rugby match on telly at the pub. Drew Dastardly, don't wear a helmet equals Shamford head. Correct. Adam, what's the cost of living like compared to the UK? Higher. Certainly when I can compare it to what it was in the UK when I lived there. I can't really compare it now. But when you compare rent, and again on the news the other night, 1/3 of all properties in New Zealand are rented. 1/3. That's a lot of rental properties. And unfortunately, the rent is very high, especially in places like Auckland, Wellington. Queenstown's ridiculous. Charlotte, my eldest daughter, was living here in Queenstown, and her and her boyfriend were paying 500 New Zealand dollars a week for a single room in a house, which is ludicrous. It was way overpriced for what it was. But if they hadn't taken it, somebody else would have, and they needed somewhere to live. So that was the supply and demand problem here in Queenstown. There's obviously a shortage of accommodation. But yeah, here in New Zealand, if you look at your salary or your wage, your income, and you compare to what you pay out in rent, it's a big chunk. It really is. And even your power, your electric, your gas, if you're on mains gas. Your rates, it's all relatively expensive, to be honest. It's not a cheap place to live, unless you're in the middle of nowhere and you're living sort of off the grid, I suppose. Matterwicks, I'll never do that again. It was a one-off. Never go on the highway now, too risky. Simon, Matterwicks, my friend's wife is a nurse. She takes pleasure in picking the gravel out of wounds from people having shorts on when they crash. I never ride a motorcycle without gear on. I don't. Unless it's just a quick test ride around a car park, then put my gear on, proper helmet, gloves, leather jacket, leather jeans if I've got them. Probably don't fit anymore. But yeah, you've got to wear the gear. I've fallen off plenty of times, and wearing the right gear has saved me every time. Sure, I've had the odd injury, but never any real abrasions or cuts to the skin. So I've been very fortunate. I did fall off my XR400R back in the UK in the forest. I was busy doing a wheelie competition, and I got up into fourth gear, and I went too high with the wheelie, and I couldn't get it back, and I had to step off the back of the bike, and I was probably travelling at about 50 mile an hour at the time, and I was only wearing a rugby shirt and jeans, and sure enough, the rugby shirt rode up on me as I slid down the gravel, and I did get a lot of puncture wounds and stuff on my back. And my knees and my elbows. There was blood everywhere, to be honest. But you know what? I got back on the bike and I rode it home. Jim K, here in the USA, you can buy a full-size pickup truck for not much more than a mid-size truck. Pickup trucks are I think they're the most popular style of vehicle in America, from what I hear. And I think because of the economies of scale, because Ford and the other companies produce so many of them, they're able to sell them relatively cheaply, which is not a bad thing, really. I do like trucks. I would never have a car, unless it was something like a little Patron 7 or something, or an aerial atom. They're pretty cool. I like aerial atoms. Drew Dassedley, it's the Chinese globalists who buy up everything and extort rents from everyone. Extort rents from everyone. It has to stop. A lot of properties here in New Zealand now are owned by Asians, specifically as a rental property to create income, and because of that the rent does get increased, and it is a problem, and it does have to stop. I really feel for my kids trying to get established. I mean, Charlotte's already in Canada, so she's sort of out of the equation. She's well looked after, but for Ben and Eloise, it's a massive problem, and I can see it. They get stressed because of it, and they shouldn't be stressed at their age. It's a huge problem. It really is. Machine NZ. Hi Andy. Looks cold down there. It's bloody freezing. I was going to put another word in there, but I can't. It's freezing. I am very cold at the moment. Best thing to do is to go for a wander around Queenstown, get myself a coffee, and then I've got to head over to Invercargill this afternoon. I'm meeting up with some friends in Invercargill for a meal tonight at a pub, which will be nice. And then I'm going to go down to their dealership tomorrow morning and sort a few things out for them, which will be nice. Daniel Beddle. Hello, Daniel. Good morning and welcome to Queenstown in the not so sunny South Island of New Zealand today. It's bloody cold. Hello, Andy. Good to see you're still live streaming. Yeah, I promised you a live stream for Queenstown, and I miss talking to you guys. I really do. It's a bit of downtime for me because I was working all day yesterday, and realistically my drive to Invercargill this afternoon and the meal this evening is actually classed as work. It's all about relationship building with the various dealers that I meet and look after, should I say. Jim K, your caravan campers are so tiny compared to the RVs we have here. They are. A lot of them are just little converted normal panel vans, and yeah, they're tiny. They really are. Oh, I've got ash all over the stool. I'll have to clean that off before I go. But saying that, you know, a lot of our roads, we don't have the same kind of road network that you do. A lot of our roads are very narrow. Even State Highway 1, this is a bit of a laugh, State Highway 1 is our main north to south road, both through the North Island and the South Island. And in the South Island, State Highway 1 goes to a single lane bridge. One lane. So the traffic has to give way to oncoming traffic, you know. It's just mind-boggling. But, you know, it's tight and twisty, and if we had really big camper vans, I think we'd have a lot more accidents. There just wouldn't be the space on the road for them. And you know, when tourists are driving roads that they don't know, that's when they tend to wander around and you know, don't hug the curb or the side of the road and give maximum space. So I can see why we have small camper vans. Now then, Al Elish, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, Al. Hi Andy, sorry I'm late. Did I miss anything good? You missed everything good, to be honest. We ran through, I'm down in Queenstown by the way, and in the South Island of New Zealand, and we ran through lots and lots of different activities that you can do around here. There's heaps of things. Queenstown is very much a tourist epicenter. The businesses here have very much grown up around providing for tourism, and unfortunately we don't have any international tourists at the moment, so the businesses here are struggling tremendously. But the government is helping some of them out, not all. But it's good to see that I think all the pubs and all the shops that were open before lockdown are still open at the moment. But for how long, I just don't know. We'll have to find out. Wait and see, really, won't we? If we go into another lockdown here in New Zealand, it will be catastrophic for businesses. There's no doubt about that. I've spoken to a lot of business owners, and they've told me the same thing. Their cash reserves are gone in the main. So if they go into lockdown again, they just don't see a way through it. They really don't. Daniel, still doing the electrical repairs here. I'm my home, and in my home that I showed you on Facebook Messenger. Yeah, Daniel, you've got a lot of work to do. The wiring in that property looks horrific, and you know, just a disaster waiting to happen. Which you've already had one problem. I'm sure that there's going to be more if you leave it as it is. It needs to be sorted out, right? It does. You've got to be safe. You don't want to be waking up, or well, should I say, not waking up one morning. That would be terrible. Adam Clemenson. Does Teng sponsor the channel? Do they throw you some free gear now and again? Sponsor is a word that YouTube pick up on, and if the channel is officially sponsored, it can cause problems. Teng Tools support the channel, as do Pico. Nobby Underwear from Australia was a recent one that came on board, and of course the Forge products, the importer of Forge. Jared picked up on the channel a few months ago, and again has thrown a lot of product my way, which greatly reduces the running costs of the repairs that I have to do, the overheads, and it's good gear. It really is. It's a very much equivalent to Worth, if you've heard of Worth products. Very high quality, but nowhere near the same price. That's not a plug. I just find it really good value for money. And I have ordered through Forge a set of truck jump leaks for jump starting vehicles and stuff. Because you might have noticed in recent videos, the jump leads that I have are pretty crap. And the good ones that I had, I did leave in England. I should have brought them. I don't know why I didn't bring them. I was doing a 6,000 kilometer drive through Europe. I should have taken them with me, and I didn't. I forgot to pack them, so gutted as always. But I'm going to get some good ones now because I do need them. So yes, Teng Tools and ISL Industrial look after me tremendously, and I do have currently I am setting up an Andy Mechanic website. It won't be live until the end of the year at this rate. But on my website will be all the ISL Industrial products that they bring into New Zealand, available for retail to the public. ISL Industrial is only a wholesaler, so they only supply shops and distributors, around New Zealand. They don't sell direct to the public, and they've asked me if I would be interested, and I've taken up the offer, interested in retailing through a website all of their products. So I've got the same company that built their website is now building mine, and it will be able to self-propagate all the products from the ISL website, and any changes that they make to the ISL site will automatically change on mine. So it will be a very autonomous kind of a website. I won't need to do too much work to it because I don't have a lot of time, but it will allow anybody in New Zealand and anybody around the world, is the plan, to purchase any of those products. Obviously shipping is going to be the bone of contention on cost, but we'll see what we can do, and maybe I can try and get viewers to be able to do special offers for viewers and so on, and give you codes that you can enter that'll give you a bit of a discount. But we'll see. It's very early days yet, but it is going to happen, and it'll be a fantastic website. 30,000 products available, plus of course all the Andy Mechanic merch will be on there. I've spoken to Jared at Forge, and the plan is to put a lot of the Forge products on there as well. So it'll be a great place to buy stuff for your workshop. Simon, well, the A1 is still single lane in parts of Northumberland. It is. I do like driving the A1. It's good fun. I much prefer the A1 to the M1. Although it does take longer, obviously. El Elish, pronounced El-ish. Oh, okay, El-ish. That'll do. Oh, sorry, Al Elish. Cool. Thanks for asking. Hey, no problem. It's important to try and get people's names right. Daniel, room by room, it's getting fixed. That's what I want to hear. Just a little bit at a time, and you'll get there in the end. Otherwise, you tend to get a bit overwhelmed if you try and do the whole lot at once. Daniel, how are the Tool Girls? Well, I have some news. I have some really bad news. I was speaking to Tool Girl Lilli last week, or in fact earlier in the week, and unfortunately Tool Girl Lilli's workload now with her day job and with her photo shoots and modelling has got to the point where she can no longer be a Tool Girl. Very sad. Made lots and lots of really cool videos with Lilli, had a great laugh in the workshop with her. We obviously will continue to be friends, there's no doubt about that. But she won't have time now because the workshop's moved down to Taupo. The logistics is just too time consuming for her to come down. So very, very sad, and I'm going to miss Lilli in the workshop an awful lot. But hey, at least we've made lots of nice videos together. Jim K, does ISL supply bolts and fasteners like Worth? ISL do, I think, just small assorted packs of nuts and bolts, but Forge do more the lines where you can buy a box of 100 M6 B50s, for example, of various head types and stuff, and the whole range of nuts and bolts. Whether their full range is available here in New Zealand or not, I don't know. That's something you would need to speak to Jared about directly. And Jared does, I believe, I'm sticking my neck out at the moment, if you have a business, he would supply you, yes. I don't think he supplies the general public directly though. He would have to do that through one of his agents. Daniel, YouTube creators Junkyard Digs and the Thunderhead 289 all use Tame tools. Is that right? I'll have to check them out as well. Daniel Beddle, very sad chap, and me too. I'm really sad that Tool Girl Lilli won't be around on the channel anymore. But obviously, I'll keep you updated as she's doing, and she does have her own website as well, and there's a link to that. I think it's Lily Steele. There's a link to that in many of the descriptions on the videos that I've put out over the last year. Yeah, I'm going to miss her too. I am. I was really sad when she told me. She did. We actually went through the same scenario a few months ago, just after Christmas it was. We'd just done some filming, and she told me then that she couldn't continue, but I managed to talk around to come back and do some more filming, and that was the last day's filming we did together. But her workload has continued to increase, and she just can't do it, and I totally understand. She's got to focus on what's the most important to her, and her job's getting real busy as well, so it's just the way it is. Things change, people move on and do different things, and I'm just very, very grateful that she gave me the time that she did to make the videos together that we've done. and they'll be on YouTube forever, you know. So if you miss Lily, go back and watch one of her videos, because we had a lot of fun in the workshop. We really did. Daniel, the YouTube creators are based out of Iowa. Really? That's pretty cool. On the last live stream we did last Sunday, where Tool Girl Holly joined us near the end, for the last half almost, really it was. We had Eric O. Eric O from South Main Auto came on one of Andy Mechanic's live streams, which I was absolutely flabbergasted. Eric is a very, very busy chap, and it was actually, working out the times, it was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon when Eric joined us, which is a very busy time for him. He was busy fixing cars. So, you know, again, thank you very much, Eric, for joining us on that live stream. It was a huge surprise, and much appreciated as well. And the comments went wild when they saw Eric O pop up. It was very interesting. His YouTube channel is going from strength to strength. I mean, I remember when I first started watching his videos, I think he had about 150 odd subs, 150 odd thousand subs, and now he's up to like 450,000 plus. You know, it's going from strength to strength, and good on him. He's got great content, well presented, and just good videos. You know, covering all sorts of different diagnostics, and he's just such a nice chap. You know, I speak to him on a regular basis. You know, off the record, and yeah. We get on really well together. He's a nice guy, and I hope one day to meet up with him. So we're at 1 hour and 26. I'm going to cut the live stream in 3 minutes, gentlemen and ladies. So if there's anything else you want to say or ask, now is the time. I'm going to have one last cigarette and try and keep warm, because I am absolutely freezing now. I'm very pleased that we haven't been stopped doing the live stream, because I didn't ask permission to do it here, but there is nobody around, so I think it's fine. God, shivering. Oh, yeah, we're still good for battery on the laptop. Everything else is fine. What have we got? Jim K. Has there been any new applications for Tool Girls? Yes, there has. I don't want to, you know, count my chickens. There is a Tool Girl due to be filming, and Mrs. Mechanical no doubt give me grief over this. Oh, I've got the pattern wrong. Hang on, I've got to get into my phone. Now then, what's her name? Oh, so what? I'm just going to get you the date we're going to do the filming. We're going to be filming on the Sunday, the 19th of July. Is scheduled for a new Tool Girl to come down to the shop and do some videos. Now that's going to be like a introduction to the workshop, so she'll be doing some basic, you know, on the tool stuff. Maybe get her to strip an engine down. She'll obviously be given a shirt, which is an important, I feel, a very important video. It's like an induction to the channel, and introduced to all the viewers. And maybe we'll do an electrical video as well. We'll be pretty full on that day, and of course I'll do a photo shoot at the same time, so we've got some nice photos, either for a calendar or just for the social media side of things. Oh man, Daniel. Yeah, I know. I love it when Scanner Dana and Keith from New Level Auto Diagnostics join us in the chats. It's a privilege. It really is to have those guys on board. They are very, very time poor. They're very busy chaps, and for them to spare even a few minutes to join in with the chat. Keith often messages me as well, which is I do like Keith's videos. I think he's a very, very, very intelligent chap when it comes to diagnostics, at a level I would never ever even hope to get to be honest. I don't specialise in the kind of stuff that Keith does, and I don't see that many cases either. You know, my day job involves many aspects, not just diagnostics. Daniel, well, it's 86 degrees Fahrenheit here in Newport News, Virginia. Oh, I don't know what that is, but it's bloody cold here. Simon, health and safety induction log. Yes, we're going to have to kit her out with some special Andy Mechanic safety boots and leggings and a shirt and that kind of stuff. It's probably going to be quite cold at home. It's cold all over New Zealand at the moment, so hopefully the weather will warm up a little bit before we start filming. Oh, now also I haven't got one with me. I have ordered one, but there is also now a new official Andy Mechanic mug. I've done the first one for a Tool Girl. Tool Girl Holly now has her own official mug, and that is available through the Zazzle store. So you just go on to www.zazzle, that's zazzle.co.nz, and just do a search Andy Mechanic YouTube, one word, and you'll be able to pick up you'll find the Andy Mechanic official store, and you'll see there is a mug there with an awesome picture of Tool Girl Holly on there. She's very proud of her new boots. She does like them a lot. And so do I. I think they suit her really well. So if you fancy a Tool Girl Holly mug, then drop onto the store, get it ordered. You can have the standard mug, or you can go for that thermos one. There's different options. And send me a picture through on an email, and I'll put you in the draw to win that big bunch of merch, the Andy Mechanic merch, and there's some 10 tools in there as well, and of course some products from Forge. I might even try and twist Nobby's arm to put some underwear in there as well, because the Nobby gear is really supportive. It's very good. You should try that. And their business has grown exponentially over the last year. They've done very, very well. And there are lots and lots of Nobby adverts out there, and they do support the channel. So very happy. Oh, Mrs. Mechanic has just sent me a text. New Tool Girl? Question mark. Sorry, exclamation marks times lots. Yes, Mrs. Mechanic. The plan is there'll be a new Tool Girl coming in the workshop later this month, but the chances of her turning up are usually pretty slim because we are quite remote, and she may look on the map and go, hey, that's too far to go, and it won't happen. So I'm not counting my chickens just yet, but it might happen, and if it does, it'll be great. Daniel, I have a problem that I never encountered on a Dodge Grand Caravan, 3.6 litre VVT. A red lightning bolt is displayed on the instrument cluster. I have no idea. I've never worked on one of those. I don't even know what a red lightning bolt signifies as a warning light. Maybe somebody else can help. When I read on the Dodge forums, they say that it has to do with the throttle body, but there are no codes for it, and there doesn't seem to be any effect on vehicle running. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let it develop, is what I say. But yeah, do try and find out what that code means, or what the light signifies. There's got to be a reason for it. It's come on for a reason, and it, like you say, it might not affect the running of the vehicle at the moment, but it might slowly deteriorate. So maybe it's giving you a bit of a heads up that something needs to be looked at. Holy crap, we've gone over time. It's 1 hour and 32 minutes into the live stream. So, ladies and gentlemen, Andy Mechanic is going to sign off from Queenstown. Don't forget to drop onto that Zazzle store, grab yourself some merch, send me a picture through, and I'll put you in the draw to win all that gear. The draw is going to be in December this year, so you've got plenty of time, but you know, grab it while you can. And all the support that's come through again this morning, very much appreciated. Not just the super chats, but also just the comments and the questions. It's great to talk to you all, and you've made my day, as always. My day will pass so much better now that I've had a couple of hours downtime. Okay, crew, well, it's goodbye from Queenstown, and all of you take care and keep safe out there, and I'll see you on the channel, well, next Sunday at least. If not, there'll be another video out. I've done some more videos with Holly. I've just got to get those edited up, and it's time. Time is the problem, but they are there, they're in the can, and they'll get edited up when I get a chance. Alright, crew, see you around. Cheers, over and out.